Welcome back to another episode of Prairie Wheeler. Today I'm going to be working on my rear 14-bolt axle. It's going to be going underneath my Jeep for my 1-ton swap. Today I'm going to look at rebuilding the calipers. So previously I had stripped the axle down, cleaned all the brackets off, removed the brakes, rotors, calipers, backing plates, and I've gone through the painstaking effort of sandblasting everything, treating it with rust inhibitor, washing all the parts up, and putting 2 coats of paint. So I'll show you here up in a moment how everything turned out. I think it turned out really excellent. So here we go. All right, so here's all the hardware that I cleaned up and sandblasted. I think it turned out pretty good. Here's the calipers. You can take a look. Everything's all nicely cleaned up. So before I sandblasted everything, I chased the threads and washed them and got them cleaned up. But since then I've painted, and I did tape and mask off everything, but you still get a little bit of paint in there. So I'm going to go through it. I'm going to chase all the threads. I'm going to show you guys how I go about determining bolt size and thread pitch using some tools that I have. Okay, so let's grab the first caliper here. We'll come back over here to the workbench. And I've got my replacement Banjo bolt here, as you can see. So let's figure out what diameter we got. So we're going to use the caliper here. And we'll measure the diameter here. So we got a reading of about 9.26. So that will be a 10 millimeter bolt. And then for thread pitch, we've got a metric gauge set here. It's kind of hard to see, but if you can kind of take a look in here, you can see it looks like it's 1.5 thread pitch. So now we know what tap we're going to be working with. So I pulled out my M10 by 1.5, and we can thread it in here, get it started, kind of like so, and then we can thread it on and chase those threads, make sure we get any of the paint out. And then once we chase all the threads out on all these, we will blow it out with some compressed air, and then we'll look at replacing the seals. So we'll take a look. We've got a brake bleeder here, so we'll see what that is. So 1.5 doesn't look like it's going to work. Let's try 1 here. So we take a look, and it looks like 1 matches up. So let's see the diameter of this one. So we'll get our calipers out and we'll measure. And it looks like we're again an M10, so we need to find an M10 by 1. Okay, so I just noticed something interesting. I went down to my parts bin because I kept all the old stuff. When I ordered the new parts on Rock Auto, I went under, year, make, model of vehicle. So I just chose a 2002 Chevy Avalanche 2500 because it runs a corporate 14-bolt. And it appears that the Banjo bolts that they sent me, sorry, not the Banjo bolts, the brake bleeders that they sent me are an M10 by 1.0 thread pitch. And the originals that came out are an M10 by 1.5. So it looks like I've got the wrong part. So it looks like I'll have to look at getting in touch with Rock Auto and get some different ones. So I'm just going to go ahead anyways and continue cleaning up the other threads because well, they need to be cleaned up anyways, and I might as well continue on with the project even though I'm waiting on some brake bleeders. So we'll chase the other threads as well on the other caliper, and then we'll come back and we'll do the threads for the caliper mounting brackets. You know, I know a lot of people skip this step, And you know, it might be fine, but you know what, it's always nice to put things together and to work with things when they're just like new. So I thought, you know what I mean, for the extra couple of minutes, why not spend the time? I have the tools. I'm not in a big rush to get this project done. It's for myself, so might as well do it. Okay. Now that those are cleaned up, I'm just going to go over the compressor here for a moment, and we're going to blow that out with some air to make sure we get all the junk out. Okay, so that one's cleaned up. We'll do the other one. There we go. Okay, calipers are all chased and cleaned, those threads. We'll do the larger two. Okay, so just like before, I grabbed my caliper mounting brackets with the sliders on them, and I'm going to measure my thread pitch here. So these appear to be a 1.5. I don't know if you can see that there, it's hard to read. So they're 1.5 thread pitch, and again, I'm going to take my gauge and I'm going to measure it here. And it looks like I got 15.79, so that would be an M16 by 1.5. So, you know what I mean, I'm going to grab my appropriate tap here. I believe I should have one. Yeah, M16 by 1.5 right here. There it is. So we'll thread these in. And we'll chase the threads here and just clean up any paint that might be in it. So again, it's probably not necessary, but you know, it's always easier to work with something when it's done. So I'm going to take these few minutes to clean it up. Man, I can't believe I got those wrong brake bleeders from Rock Auto. First time. Mind you, I don't normally order a lot of stuff from Rock Auto. I normally hit up the local parts dealer, but seeing that we are in this pandemic or COVID time frame that they say that we're in, I've been trying to not venture out as much as possible and doing more online ordering if possible. I do try to order online or curbside pickup locally and support local businesses, but some things you just got to get from elsewhere. Okay. One down and one to go. Yeah, so I figured I would kind of go through the daunting task of showing you guys kind of what's all involved for, you know, complete teardown, resurfacing, refinishing, and rebuilding, right? A lot of people don't show this, so they just buy all new parts. And, you know, don't get me wrong, that's good too, but a lot of people are interested in doing this kind of thing, and they don't quite know what's all involved to do, so here it is. Okay, so threads are chased, and next up is going to be putting the new seals in and the pistons. I thought I'd maybe go through like a little explanation here of what I did, how I got the pistons out. So basically what I did is I laid the calipers down. I had the brake hoses still hooked up. I put a 2x4 in here. Let me see if I still have it down here. Oh yeah, I do right here. So I used this little block, this little cut off piece of 2x4 here, put it in here like this, like so. And then I pushed air through the brake hose, or where the brake hose would hook up to, right where the Banjo bolt was. And then it pushed and popped the cylinders out. And the reason why I put the block of wood here is if you didn't have that there, the pistons would shoot out with the force of the air. So that's how I got them out. The pistons came here, I lift them up, and then I just wiggled the pistons out till they came out. So I hope that helps somebody if they're trying to figure out how they remove the pistons out to get the seals and everything out when they're doing a rebuild. Okay, so we've got our caliper rebuild kits here. There's one for each. Once again, ordered these on Rock Auto. So I'm going to get a little bit of brake fluid here. I have to use as some lubricant while putting these in. See how this goes. So there's should be two seals. There's an O-ring, and then there's a seal that goes around. So we'll look at putting these in one side at a time. So these O-rings kind of slide down in here. Oh, that seems kind of weird. Those are kind of loosey-goosey. Huh. It's interesting. Let's get our pistons out. Here's the pistons. It's kind of interesting. Maybe these go over top the piston. Ah, there we go. So these go over top the piston, it looks like. It's been a while since I had all these apart. Well, it looks like the seals and everything I got are wrong. They don't fit either. So yeah, that's interesting. So O-ring, seals, everything are wrong. So, well, I guess that scraps that for today. So much for the caliper rebuild. Sorry guys, you know, everything's been here, but you know, sometimes that happens, so I guess we'll have to look at getting new ones. Okay, well, since I kind of struck out on rebuilding the calipers today, and that was kind of part of my plan, I guess I'm going to look at maybe putting the hardware back into the caliper mounting brackets. We'll see if those are right before I get in touch with Rock Auto and send them an email. So again, here we go. Here's the new hardware for those. let's see what's going on here. Again, we have some threads to chase, so we determined those diameters before. So again, it's still that M16 by 1.5, if I remember right. No, those are not M16 by 1.5. Those, I gotta find the bolts. Okay, let's see what we got here. Those, it's been a while. What do we got? What do we got? Ah, here we go. Caliper mounting bracket. So yeah, I had cleaned up all these on the wire wheel and kind of made them all look pretty again. So sorry you guys missed this stuff. But I started this before I realized I thought it would be a good idea to document the 1-ton build. So it looks like this is going to be a 14 millimeter bolt. So once again, let's measure that thread pitch and see what we got going on here. Put back some of this stuff here so I don't lose it, mistrack it, make a big mess. So okay, so we know it's coarser than 1.5, so let's try 1.75. Let's see here. Nope. Is it a 2? Let's try a 2. There we go. So there we go. We got an M14 by 2. I don't know if you guys can see that or not. It might be hard to see, but we'll get our M14 by 2. I think this is it here. Out. Yeah, M14 by 2. So once again, we're just going to chase these threads here and clean them up. Might as well. It only takes a minute. Like I said, I did clean all the guck out and wash all this stuff beforehand, but I painted everything and I did tape up and block off some places, but I didn't do everywhere because, well, it only takes a second to do this, so I didn't think it was worthwhile to tape up and mask these threads. I thought it was a lot less effort and work to just chase them again. Well, that's a little snugger than I thought it would be. So yeah, so we'll get these both done and then we'll move on. Put all new boots and sliders inside, and hopefully these ones are right. So I'm pretty sure that these ones are right because I ordered these ones online once again. We just moved to the city I'm in about a year and a half ago, so I'm still learning all the places to go to, but I have a brother-in-law that works in the automotive industry, so I did call a friend. I called him up and said, hey, because I was having a hard time finding the right boots and that for these rears, so I gave him a call up and said, hey, can you double check and verify this part that I found? And sure enough, he did that for me. So I said, yeah, those are the right ones. So I ordered them up. I would have just went and saw him, but fortunately he's in another city and it just wasn't feasible to get them from him this time. So yeah, we'll see how far we can get today on these, and I guess then we'll call it quits. I'll look at getting in touch with Rock Auto. I've never done that. I don't know if they got a phone number I can call or I got to send them an email, but one way or the other, I'll figure it out. Good thing is like neither of them were expensive parts. I think, I don't know, I think it was maybe $3 or $5 for a rebuild kit on the seals, and I think it was about, I don't know, $3 or $5 for 4 brake bleeder valves, so they were cheap. They weren't expensive anything. So worst case scenario, if they're not going to help me out, I'll head down to the local parts store. I'm sure I'll be able to find something there that works. So Okay, now that those are cleaned up, let's see what we got here. Got some parts. So these inserts go down at the bottom and then these go in top. So these just, ooh, it's a bit of a tight fit. Okay, let's see how these work out. So these go on the end here, right? And then I believe these go down inside. Ooh, that is tight. Let's figure this out. They look right. Let's find something to push it, maybe a small socket. Tap it down, large punch. Okay, so what I've done is I'm grabbing a small 1/4-inch socket here and a hammer. And I am going to just tap it in place. Use this cardboard here. Looks like I need to look at picking up a table or something like that to work on. I'm a little shy on bench space here, so let's see how this turns out. Sure, I'll want to just tap this guy down here a bit. So. Okay, that guy looks like it's down in there. Okay, so after fighting with getting the slider pin guides in, one didn't want to go in that well, so what I ended up doing was just putting a slight tiny bit of caliper lube on the inside, and it dropped right in. So I don't know why the other three, well, two slid in like butter. One I tapped in, you saw. The third one didn't want to go in even with hitting it, but a little bit of caliper lube, and man, it slid right in the hole without any issues. So I don't know what the story was, why it did that, but yeah, problem solved. Okay, so I found the easiest way to get these installed is you put a little bit of silicone lubricant on the end to help them slide in. Don't need much, just a little bit. And then with them in the vise, you kind of get them nice and centered and square, and you can punch them in. You got to be very careful. These boots, there's not much to them. But, yeah. Looks like I'm almost out. But, yeah, there's not much to these things here.